Hi, my big, beautiful family. So we're going bigger and bigger by the day, and I'm so happy and proud that my channel is reaching and influencing so many people. So today we will be doing an interview about some society struggles and how confidence helps with that. The person I'm interviewing is very confident and he knows who he is. I look up to that and I just think he's amazing. So I want you guys to meet him. Before we start the interview, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We have more interviews, different perspectives from different people. We're gonna be feeding homeless people, and this time we're gonna cook for them so we can feed more than a few homeless people. And lastly, my favorite, we're gonna have some fun. That includes games, 20v2, and different games I think of. Questions and answers with Cream and I will be asking you guys for those questions. And pranks and just stuff I like to do in general. You guys know I like to have fun and do what I want. So let's start. I would like to introduce my brother, Nasir.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hi, Luke.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you.
It's
Good to
great to
see
see you
y'all.
too. So tell us about yourself. Who is Nana Nasir?
Oh my God, I can't believe she did this, y'all.
That's his nickname.
Right. All right.
For us.
So, Nasir, Nana, a many of names. There's other ones that I won't let y'all know about. I am a singer. I'm a creator. I'm a host. I'm a journalist. I'm a brother. I'm like, oh, there's so many different things. I think that question for me is always so um, difficult to answer because it's so broad. Like I think it really depends on like where you are in your life and like what you're focused on and like how you're just deciding, I guess, to define yourself at that moment.
Right.
So,
And all those things just make you who you are. So
yeah.
everything just, yeah, that sounds good. So how would you describe your childhood and the way you grew up?
The way I grew up, I feel like my childhood was fun. Where I think like three words come to mind, particularly, and one of them is a little bit more difficult, but fear, fortune, and fortitude. Um, Fear because I think there was just so many things that I didn't understand about myself growing up, and there also wasn't a lot of people to talk to about it, and there weren't many people, or I guess examples, even in media, that would like give me a good foundation to see myself through. So a lot of fear about not understanding things that I didn't understand about my own self, but then fortitude because there was a lot of support. And despite all of the challenges, obviously, as you know, like didn't grow up with my mom and dad, our dad.
Yeah.
So having that kind of in and out of my life type of parent perspective or experience really made me just resilient at certain times because I just felt like I had to just make it through. You know what I mean?
And did that make you feel like alone? Like you were
Yeah,
on your own?
definitely. Sometimes, like it's hard to say alone when you feel like, or when you know that you've had like family that really loves you and supported you and been there to make any and everything in your life possible. But there's just so much more to life that I think we don't really realize until you become an adult and you're like, oh wow,
Right.
like
You're
this,
looking back
yeah,
and like,
like being
wow.
lonely means more than just having people around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right. And what do you think you learned about yourself, like just growing up?
growing up, I mean, it depends in which regard, but.
Like just finding yourself and finding who you are. What did you like learn the most?
I mean, I definitely knew that I learned that I could put myself through anything.
Yeah.
Like, from all of the challenges I think I went through growing up, not feeling confident, like you were saying in the beginning, because I mean, I know I feel this way now and I look this way now, y'all, but I didn't always. And kids were just mean. Like, kids are just mean
Right.
little
People are gonna
individuals.
be
They
mean.
tease you for all like the stupidest things. So like from being too dark or being too skinny and like all these things, right? So I think that was a lot of my experience growing up. Like, dang, I fit in, but I don't, and I'm always getting teased. But I can then become the same person that's teasing. So it's just like a part of
Right,
being
right. It's
a
about how
child.
you take it and how you look at it. So yeah,
Exactly. So
I
being a kid,
agree.
like I think that's like how I would describe that aspect of my experience.
Yeah, and was it easy to like create relationships and get friends? Did you feel like you had
Definitely.
like groups where you fit in?
I feel like I fit in, but didn't. And it's not until maybe like junior year, like 10th grade, junior year of high school, that's when I really became like confident within myself. And I was like, all right, all the spaces that I'm around, all the people, whether it's people who play sports or the people who love theater or you know, the dudes who don't love school at all. They're just outside chilling on the block. Like, I
Right.
found myself being able to be in all of those different circles because I had a little bit more confidence in what I brought to the table.
And that's good because that comes with finding yourself just doing different things and seeing what snaps and what you like.
Right.
So that's great. And did you like tend to isolate yourself like when you didn't feel, when you felt like unwanted, do you like isolate yourself and like would you rather be alone?
Well, you know, I grew up in the house with grandma, and I feel like I was the only kid in the house, so it was easy for me to just close my door. and
Yes,
just be like,
even
"Hey, you know what?"
yes,
Right.
even if that it's like I felt like you were so isolated. Like and I always thought you were cool and I just
Right.
wanted to like but I was scared, I don't know.
I think growing up, our parents, they make a lot of different choices that give us the lives that we didn't have, and we have
Yeah.
to like figure out ourselves around that. So I remember us growing up and wanting to, you know, have stronger relationship with my siblings, like you and Kahim, but like growing up in different places, but at the same time,
And
still
we're
trying
younger
to,
too, so it's
Exactly.
like
So trying to like
how can I
think
connect?
through
How
that.
should I connect?
And then grow up and go to college and like achieve things, like life becomes way more complicated over time to the point where it's just like, all right, at some point you have to find like the sweet spot to
Yeah.
figure it out. You know what I mean?
Well, little
So,
did you know,
yeah.
I really looked up to you. Like, I used to look at you like, oh my God, he's so cool. And you looked confident to me
Yeah.
before. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think, like, it took you so long to find confidence. But it's the same with me. Like, people, when I tell people I wasn't confident, that's why I created this channel, they're like,
I mean,
really?
I think that's true. I think a lot of what made me feel confident growing up was the things that I created for myself. So like when I was in my junior year, senior year of high school, I started watching Oprah Winfrey Show, and I was like, oh my God! Like I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to go to law school and do all of those things. But I realized, like, no, I love being able to watch these shows and experience all these different conversations and learn so many different things from this platform. So I was like, why don't I just do this? Become a journalist, host a show, and like allow that to be
Yes,
what I
that's
do for my life.
great. And you should
accomplishing
shout
those
out your
things.
show.
I will. I'll talk to you
Yeah,
about that in a second.
yeah, because he's good, right?
But it was like chasing after all of those opportunities and achieving one thing after the next that really gave me the confidence. Like, okay,
Right,
I
like
mean,
I can
even
do this.
literally,
I'm
and
literally
so-
proving to myself that I can do
Exactly.
this.
So at the next challenge, it was like, damn, can I do this? Well, look back. Didn't you do all of those things? Period.
Yeah,
You're going to
so
the next
just
thing.
do it. Just do it. Scared, alone.
Exactly,
Doesn't matter.
exactly.
Just do it. So at what age did you realize you were gay? And like, did you try to hide it?
I think I always knew when I was younger that I liked both girls and boys, but obviously, like, what's pushed is heterosexuality because that's just the norm, right? So you, for a long period of time, you're just following, you know, in the steps in which were laid before you. But then, like, having these feelings just all throughout elementary school, you know, middle school, I'm like, okay, there's definitely something here. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to name it. And when I do get some signs of like what this may be, the outside world seems to be responding negatively to that.
Right.
So as I'm trying to figure that part out, I'm also like hiding it because it doesn't feel safe to explore
Especially
this
being
thing.
a male. Like I know
Exactly.
you people have different perspectives when it's a woman and two women and two males.
Yeah,
so
two men. Trying to find confidence in that really came from, there was this one night I was at my best friend's house, and I want to say this was my senior year in high school, New Year's, and we were at her sister's house drinking, and for some reason we were in her room, and she just all of a sudden asked me, "Wait, are you gay?" And that question, I swear to God, I think I never felt so naked in my life. It's so
Right,
uncomfortable, but also at the same time, like that little kid that was hiding the space of himself that he was trying to find all that time, like literally that little kid was like, damn, this might be your chance. So I just blurted it out and I was like, yeah, I don't know, I think. And then after that, we like didn't even keep talking about it. I think we ended up partying again, like passed out the next day, and I just woke up. And the next day when I woke up, I was like, wow, I feel
You did that.
so seen in a way that was uncomfortable. It wasn't this like, oh my God, like I did it, I'm out here. I was like, oh no, this means that now I have to deal with this.
Right,
in a
like
real way.
now people's gonna look
Because
at you differently,
right.
yeah.
And it's just one person, like I trusted her, so I didn't think that she was gonna like tell anybody or anything
Yeah.
like that. But it was just like, all right, you took the first step towards
Right.
forever. And that was,
From you really like
Yeah, a
walking
lot.
into it. Like, and
Yeah.
did you feel like you looked gay around this time or like?
you know, it's so funny, even to this day, people will be like, oh, I didn't even think that you were gay, or I never
Right.
knew.
Right.
But that's, I mean, a whole different conversation of like passability politics and stuff like that. But I think when I first came out in high school, I was so happy to be out that I used to wear like my friend's Juicy Couture's chains in high school, and I'm trying to think what else. Like that probably was like the furthest that I went. Or contacts, stuff like that, like little things that were just out of the norm.
Right, because you don't even change yourself. You're
Right.
just beautiful.
I was just trying to find like what actually identified with me, but
Oh,
whatever that I
okay.
could use as a demonstration or some type of like tactic to figure out, okay, do you like this? Do you like this? Are you more this?
Right.
To where I am now, which is like I wear a crop top or I'll wear an army uniform. You know, like it just depends. So it
Yeah,
depends on how
stuff
I feel.
like that. Right, yeah, I definitely asked that because it was hard for me to come out when I did. And I literally came out because I seen someone else, like another girl being like gay. And like I thought it was okay now to come out. I didn't want to come out by myself because it was like when I was really young, like probably first grade, I used to look at girls like, oh, they're really pretty. I like girls first before even boys. So yeah.
Okay.
So I had to ask that question and just see how you came out. And
Yeah.
that's crazy that you came out yourself. Like you didn't even need nobody to push you out. Like I'm saying, like I seen
mean,
someone and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gay too. And then like if people would think of that as like you're following
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
but you're not following. You were hiding it. You're scared what other people might think until you
And I
see
don't
it.
think I said gay when I first came out. I think I was saying bisexual.
Yeah,
And for me, that was
okay.
still, like this in this area of like being safe. Like I wasn't
Right.
completely different. So I
Right,
could still like
right.
toe this line. And then that was also just me being naive and young because now what I realize as an adult is that it's masculinity that I'm actually attracted to, and it's not about whether you're a man or a woman. It's about the display and like how you balance masculinity and femininity for me, and that ultimately is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That sounds
but
great.
when you get the space to actually explore comfortably and like have these conversations with the people you consider, you know, people you love and or you know you trust, you can then like find the answers more safely and not have to like define it as this or define it as that.
Right,
You know
and
what
this is really a part of confidence because it's literally you just finding yourself and exactly
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Which is hard, y'all.
Yeah,
Listen, like
it's really
you're trying
hard.
to pay bills, you're trying to survive, the world is burning, and you have to do this daily work. Like,
That
I
is
just
the
want to.
reason for this channel, just providing
Yeah.
like a positive environment where
Yeah.
everybody can just express themselves. So
Exactly. I mean, you need somewhere safely and comfortably to be able to do so because oftentimes I think we try to like make it seem like everyone should just be on like a robotic, I don't know, like
yeah, this
AI type of
society
right.
norm.
Like you should just
Society's
survive, like get
normal.
through it. But
Yeah.
no, like life is hard. There are a lot of different things that we're all trying to work through and figure out.
Yeah.
And the more we understand and extend that like compassion to each other, I think we'll get to a better place and we'll live more comfortably.
Right.
But
And
everyone
we
just
are
has to like
different.
give each other space to feel and experience what the hell they're going through because everyone is going through it.
Right, and everyone's different. We have to embrace the differences while we're going through those struggles. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So can you talk about some struggles that emerged like due to your sexuality?
Struggles that emerge.
And how did you like respond to that? Like not even just struggles, like
mean, I
hate maybe.
Well,
Not even
thank
just
God, like
struggles.
I am lucky enough and fortunate enough to never have been like victimized in a particular
That's
type of way
great.
because of my sexuality. I mean, obviously, you know, being teased and stuff like that
Yeah,
happens,
that's
and that hurts too. But in terms of safety, I think I've just always felt unsafe because of that. Like at some point, I realized like, damn, women go through this daily, on an everyday basis, excuse me, when they have to like walk past men and they're being catcalled and all these things.
Yeah.
Like they're so exposed and so naked. And so now I think as a gay man, I realized growing up, damn, that is how I feel. I feel like I am unsafe or like someone else feels like they have the right to
Right.
do something to me because I'm different or I make
Yeah.
them feel uncomfortable.
And that is
So I
scary.
think
That's
in
not
terms,
right.
so in terms of challenges, I think that like feeling safe was a challenge that my sexuality like provided or like it came hand in hand with. And then I think just in relationships to men, because a lot of men growing up, they don't have this healthy sense of like communication and emotionality to each other.
Yeah.
And so we get taught to be like this, be like this, be like this.
Right.
But then when we're adults, we're displaying all those same behaviors, but in a very unhealthy way. And now the world is saying, no, you're wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. You need to be softer. You need to be, but
Right.
you weren't curated like that, you know? So I think
Exactly.
growing up, my relationships to myself as a man, but then to other men was complicated because of our lack of understanding. I mean, our lack of space to just actually figure out who we were as boys. And so you have me, a boy who maybe knows a little bit more about like his curiosity and sexuality. And then you have other boys who are like, I guess maybe like more focused on a heteronormative path, right?
Yeah.
And they may or may not feel how I felt. But we're
Right.
all just trying to figure it out. So I think for me, I always just felt a little bit distance from my relationship with men because I'm like, all right, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. I don't want to make you feel like we can't just hang out in the same intimate space that you
Right.
would with anybody else.
And just like be
yeah.
normal, yeah, and not have
Yeah.
to
Bring that
like
to the table.
yeah,
Exactly. Because at the
and
end
the
of the day,
attention that comes with it. It's like
Exactly.
it's a lot. So sometimes it could be overwhelming.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely overwhelming. But I feel like now in my life, I've gotten the opportunity to just have a lot of healthy relationships with men of all different walks of life, of all different sexualities, shapes,
great.
colors, whatever. It doesn't matter. And that's just like a lot to do with like curating who is in my circle and who is around, but also just making healthy choices about the boundaries. You know what I mean? That you place in your life and who you allow to be, in that space and what you require of people who are around you.
Yeah. So how do you like cope with general struggles and daily like struggles?
I would love to have like this great, beautiful answer to this question.
Right, because it's hard. It's a
yeah,
million
but-
ways to cope with
Yeah. I think more recently,
struggles.
I've just been turning up, like going outside, being outside.
That's definitely a way.
yeah, like,
Just takes your
because-
mind off of what you're going through when you're having fun.
Exactly, and I think like a lot of, I would say, well, I'm 31 now, so maybe when I was 23, I got married, and all of my life up until then, and even throughout the marriage, I feel like I was living life so just spontaneously, like any and everything that I wanted to do, travel, eat, restaurants, this, that, like just living life in that way. But now, since getting divorced, I've been like rebuilding my life and really trying to figure out one, who I am outside of that, that marriage, but also as an individual.
Right,
and
focusing
then
on you.
just not having as much money to do things. So now I'm just like, all right, I got to work hard to make all these things happen, to bring my business back and like all these other things. So right now, how do I cope is really just like peace of mind, cooking. I find to be really therapeutic right now, and going outside.
Yeah, period. That's great. That's like,
Turn it up.
yeah, that would definitely takes your mind off of it. So
Right.
you don't even need it, because my follow-up question was like, do you need people to assist with the struggle? But it sounds like right now you don't even need it since you're finding yourself and you're just,
Do I need people?
to help you get out of like that mindset.
What I realize is that, like, so you know how you read astrology, and they say for Virgos, for example, they say that you're supposed to be more introverted and not want to go outside and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I realize that now in this phase of my life where I'm like unpacking so much from my personal life growing up in my childhood to kind of like figure out what those traumas are, how they show up, and then like how do I, in a healthy way, move forward with them. I've been practicing rather isolation in that process, which helps when you don't have to really like be around a lot of people while you're going through things, but I do feel like it can become unhealthy when you're doing it for too long.
Right.
And so now I feel like I'm trying to find that healthy balance of just pushing myself out of the house and or to like be around people even when I don't feel like I need to, because sometimes you can't see the pot at the end of the rainbow, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Until
and
you
it's easy
go
to
on the journey.
isolate yourself.
Exactly.
Like,
So I do need people. I think you need your village. You need to
Yeah.
be reminded of who you are sometimes when you don't feel like you can see, that person in the mirror every day.
right, because that's my problem, seriously. Like, I just think I can do everything alone. Like, I keep everything
can't.
in. And you can. You will go crazy, literally.
But it also can become overwhelming. I want to be realistic about it. It also can become overwhelming to the pressure to communicate on a daily basis all of the things that you're going through.
Yeah.
Like I think for me, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but like I go through like a million thoughts an hour
Me
about
too.
so many
That
different
is
things.
me.
So,
That's me.
like,
My
all these
mind is
open
like
files.
racing, and it's
Right,
like, I
right.
have all the.
Exactly. So it's like your mind
So-
is everywhere. You're trying to keep your head on straight, and then also like translate that one to yourself but to other people.
Right.
So
Yeah,
give
sometimes
yourself
you
grace.
need that
Yeah.
balance. Yeah. Yeah, and even my YouTube family, like, they've been
Mm-hmm.
keeping me going, literally, because every time, like, I'm just, like, not motivated, and then I post something, it's like someone comments, like, you're really motivating me, like, you're really keeping me going. I'm like, wow, so I'm doing what I want to, my ultimate goal, and it's just great.
And
Like,
that's-
people
yeah.
really do
They respond well to
motivate
that
you.
because that's something else I realized, like we were talking about earlier, is that like chasing after my dreams and the things that I really wanted, even when I didn't necessarily know what I was doing or like what it would amount to, there were other people that maybe were struggling for themselves to like make a confident choice to step out and do the thing they wanted to do. But
Right.
just seeing me do it made them feel like,
Right.
okay, I can do this. Like
Yeah.
he's inspiration, and sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing other than the fact that you made the choice to go do the thing,
Yeah.
whatever the thing is.
Right.
Like the courage. I think that is like one of the biggest things to admire in anyone. It's just
Yeah.
like the courage to be introspective, the courage to chase after your dreams, the courage to be vulnerable. Like
Yeah, I
all of
love
those
that. I
things.
really love that. Seriously, and that I'm able to like just lift some people up. I love that
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have when I wasn't confident. I feel like I didn't have anybody lifting me up. So I just want to be that person.
Right. And in that you also like, at least this is the way I see it. You are healing the part of yourself that like didn't have that by offering it to someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally, and I'm just developing myself and just taking anybody with me, literally.
Not anybody, not anybody. Some of y'all can come, some people can't go.
Not the negative people. We don't like mean people. We like positivity. Only positivity, courage, and kindness over here. But do you consider yourself confident?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd asked me that question 5 years ago, I think I would be a lot more like confident. Of course, like confident is my first name, but I think that that's because of how I was defining my confidence, and it had everything to do with like what I was accomplishing on the outside. So going to college, joining the military, starting a business, being a journalist, like interviewing
Okay.
people, like all of those things, I consider to be like, oh yeah, this makes me great. This makes
Yeah.
me beautiful and successful in other people's eyes. And so all of that affirmation made me feel confident. But what I'm realizing now is that
Right, and that's
I'm
other
trying to-
people's
right.
like eyes. It's not
And I'm
really
still confident
you.
about those things and what I can achieve, but now I'm doing a little bit more of an introspective, like internal work. Like, what am I confident on what I am inside?
Right.
And he's a work in progress.
That's
That
great.
person is a work in progress.
That's
right
great.
Now,
I'm glad that you're figuring out like what do you want, like, because
Yeah.
that's the most important. You can't just look at what other people want you to do, because that was my problem too. Like I would do stuff just because other people want me to do
Literally.
it.
Or like just you feeling like you have the expectation.
Yeah,
to,
like I'm
something for
held to this.
someone.
I have to
Yeah.
do this. So I'm glad you found that. And how do you think the confidence helps you with your life struggles like that we just talked about?
I think just like we were saying earlier, the confidence is just like that little elixir or the potion
Right.
that gives you,
Keeps you going.
Keeps you going, right? It's the fuel that allows you to make it to the next thing. And then, like I said, after if you have a series of successful choices that you've made, and successful, I mean the ones that you failed but learned something, or the ones that
Right,
you
because
were
that's still successful. If you're
exactly.
learning something from it and able to make it something different, that's very successful.
Yeah.
So was there a time in your life where you was not confident? And like how did that make you feel when like interacting with others and just making life decisions in general?
I think I'll say now, like I was just saying a couple of seconds ago, I'm a little bit less confident now about who I am on the inside.
Right.
And that's because I'm trying to, like I said, like really look and do the internal work of like who I was as a kid and like what are the things that like happened to me and like how do I like really give that the time and attention that it needs, because as an adult, I think, and as a man, you end up realizing how it's showing up in so many different places and areas in your life. And as men, I just don't think that until now we've really been having a public conversation about what we need and like how we may need it and actual like love and space and
Right.
healing that we may need. And so right
Right.
now that is like the theme of my life, is really trying to figure out what do I need and how can how can I be more confident operating from within, because everything on the outside I've already proven to myself and to
Right.
everyone else that I can do that.
Yeah,
You know
that
what
I
mean?
can do it. And it's crazy. It's like we're on the same route a little bit. Like
Literally. Yeah.
just gaining confidence and keeping going and
And
seeing
it's a
what's
struggle.
next.
Right.
Literally.
Having the courage to get up and see what's next.
Yeah, having
Right.
the courage is like, it's really hard. It's like, I'm positive all the time, and it's like hard to be positive all the time.
Right,
But
don't
it's
drive
just
yourself
me.
crazy.
But it's me,
Right.
really. Like, I don't know. So what are some major events or occurrences that like made you the person you are today, that you would say?
I think growing up with our dad's mom and dad really was like a huge influencing factor in terms of how I grew up because I think there was a lot more stability there. So there's just certain experiences and things that I had the opportunity to take advantage of that like I'm thankful for. Because I
Right.
know if I would have, for example, like grew up with my mom, life would just look a lot different. And that's why I
Yeah,
try
I
to.
never met
Yeah.
your mom. I
And
don't think.
I know, and hopefully one day, you know, you will, because she lives in Jersey. But I think, and that's something that I've tried to even say to her is like, hey, I think the choices that you made as a mom back then to kind of let me grow up with my grandmother was the best thing that you could have done
Right.
for me. So when I look back, those are one of the things that I'm like, you know what?
And
I
you
can-
see that she really cared because she put you in that situation to have better.
That being like a huge influencing factor on how I got to like start my life and you know the runway that you get to have experiences and all of those things that really helped me out a lot and then I want to say graduating college and like starting my company getting married
Yeah.
getting divorced
That definitely made you who you are. It's
joining
so
the military
sophisticated
right.
and just like put together. That definitely made
all
you
of
who
those
you are.
things in each of those experiences like they taught me a different thing about myself whether it showed me what my weaknesses were and my vulnerabilities or like going to the military taught me that I can literally do anything physically
I didn't even know you went to the military.
yeah during the pandemic
Wow.
it was crazy
Wow.
that was crazy
That's amazing.
it
So
was
thank
one
you
of
for
the
your
most
service.
it was one of the most challenging experiences I think that I've been through in terms of like being in a situation where you don't have a choice to do anything other than what's being set out for you.
Right.
And then can you like rise to that occasion in what I would call a social experiment because you have all these people from all over the world or the country living in a room maybe like 3 times the size of this, training to become soldiers
Yeah.
in all of these extreme circumstances. Like
Yes.
it's crazy.
It
But
is
it
a
really taught me
lot.
that.
If you can get through that, you're very strong. Right.
And I knew strong.
Yeah. Are you close with your mom? I wanted to ask since you brought
Yeah,
her
like
up.
when I want to say, once I got to high school, I started being a lot more vocal about what I was going through, like what I wanted, and just also like reflecting on questions that I had. And so me and her had a conversation where I was just honest, like, and I asked her all the things that I always wanted to know, and she was honest about what the answers were. And then ever since then, it's just been this like consistent acknowledgement of who she is
That's
and why
great.
she is, and not that because she's my mom, I expect her to be all of these amazing, perfect things. But now that I'm an adult, I realize how hard it is
Yeah, it's
to be
really
an adult,
hard. Yeah.
let alone to have as many children as she does. I'm number 2 in the line of kids, but she has 7 kids.
Wow.
Right. So with all that being said, I just try to give my mom space to be
Yeah.
a human being,
Yeah,
and we have
because
like a
she needs
genuine
she needs
relationship
help
off of
too.
that. Exactly. So no, we have a great relationship. I just spoke to her like a couple days ago, and
That's
she's
great.
doing her thing.
Yeah, and did she like accept you when you did come out to everybody?
Yeah, she did. Honestly, I think for her it was a shock because one, I just didn't give that when I was younger. I don't know. And then a lot of the girls on my mom's side of the family are gay, so I guess that was also a part of it. But like, she's never made me feel any type of way about it. Like, she was just completely like,
Same with our father's side. It's like a whole bunch of people. All of us are gay,
no,
really.
that child on my dad's side, on our dad's side. Lord, coming out to him was that was
Yeah,
like,
I know him.
yeah,
He's something
it
else.
was a lot. It was a lot in high school when that happened. But I think we've gotten to the place now.
Yeah, that
where
he's
there's just
accepted. Because even when
understanding.
we were all just together, he asked about your ex-husband and
Right,
everything.
when he asked me that,
That was great.
let
Like
me
he
tell you, I
cares.
went
It seemed like he
upstairs.
cared.
When he asked me that, I went upstairs. I was like, yo, that was like one of the most simplest things. Like, it's not like he had a bunch of words or he said it in the
Right.
most eloquent way, but him just asking that, like, let me know
That
where he
small thing.
was in terms of just what he's thinking about, how much he loves me, and or what he's willing to do in terms of our relationship. So when he asked that, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
you ate that.
Yeah,
I love
right.
you for that.
Because it's
I love
really
you for
the
that.
small things that matter. Like a lot of people is just so materialistic, and I need this and that, and they don't even know how to recognize real love. So it's like,
And when you think about it, like I said, when you look at your parents for who they are, not for who you want them to be,
Yes.
because of the title of parent, you realize that there are gaps, there's shortcomings, there's all of these things that exist. So when I look at our dad, I'm just like, hey, like I know where you came from. I don't know all of your experiences,
Yeah.
but I know enough to know that you're just working and trying to figure out the world
Right.
with a son who is
Right, even with me,
way
because you know
different from
I
you.
did
You know what
not
I
grow
mean?
up with
Exactly,
him.
exactly.
Yeah.
So trying to, it's like just like any other human being, trying to have a relationship and figure it out with the dynamics of being a daughter and a father, or a son and
Yeah,
a father.
and seeing how he's trying to fix it,
Yeah,
that's
and
great right there.
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all.
So this is my last question. Do you have any advice for me or my YouTube family or someone who shared the same struggles as you?
Advice. I'll say, going back to courage. I'll say just honestly take time with yourself to be courageous and take it day by day by day. Like things are
Right.
hard, life is hard. There's so many different challenges and moving pieces, some that we can control, some that we cannot. Um, but just continue to try to work on yourself and focus on what's going on the inside so that you can actually put out into the world, what you would like to see, and then also put out into the world the things that you care about and like how you want to see some changes or how you would like to see life molded around you.
Right.
But,
That's
be
great advice
courageous.
for me because like I hold myself to high expectations
Period.
and I
As you
just
should.
have to do I just make sure I have to do this, that, and the third. So it's just sometimes I have to think like take it day by day,
Yeah.
plan long term, and you don't have to just do everything right now. Like I want to do everything,
Right,
like right now.
right.
Literally,
And
that's my problem
I
right
think,
now.
and that's some
Everything.
specific advice I can offer to you in terms of like just starting a career in the entertainment media space. Be a lot more willing to set the foundation and put in the work before you just like jump to want to do any and everything at any moment, because there's so many different parts to making productions happen. There's so many
Right.
different parts to bringing projects to life. And what I've realized is that many people can have ideas and you can create as many ideas as you want. But if you don't actually like sit yourself down to like build the foundation the right way,
Right.
then it will always be a fleeting moment, and that doesn't really help you or the people that you're trying to serve.
Yeah, that is great. Like that was very helpful. I'm glad to have you again because guys, we're actually growing closer now because as you just seen, we weren't able to like grow up together and like be close. So this interview was definitely a
we're not the
start.
only ones. Like, you know how many people there are that have siblings that they just don't talk to, or like they knew them, but then they don't even work on their relationship. So I think.
So I
this is a
guess
blessing.
it's good that we're rekindling and making
Facts.
sure
So,
we're good. So that's good. And make sure you shout out your business name and just tell them a little bit about how it is.
This year, I'll be relaunching my company, New Scope. I'm gonna say Q3 because I don't want to give a specific month, but we're gonna have a lot of different documentary projects, live theater projects, podcasts, and we're actually having a re-engagement event in February, which I will tell you about as well.
Yep, I'm attending.
Right. So just look out for that, newscopemedia.com, and my Instagram is official Nasir Ellis. I don't really, do too much on Instagram, y'all. So just wait for New Scope to come
Oh,
out.
and y'all need to actually follow my Instagram.
Right. Follow
Cindy
her.
dot play too much. Y'all need to go on my Instagram because it's like you guys are stuck on YouTube and we're a family, so let's get
Exactly.
closer.
You gotta be everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. So it was great having you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. See y'all next time.